An assembly line of headless, featherless chickens whirs above me as 2 birds per second are eviscerated and their meat, livers, hearts, necks, and gizzards are turned into money. I am touring an expensive new processing line at the Farmer Focus Certified Organic Chicken Plant in Harrisonburg, Virginia, the flagship of Corin Hitwell's bid to grab a slice of the market for food that's good for you. Farmer entrepreneur Hitwell is expanding his capacity at an inflection point in the food industry, the protein sphere in particular. The demand for organically raised meat and meat substitutes is filling investors' belief that a food wave is in full swing. Plant based meat substitutes like Beyond Meat are capturing the imagination of consumers as they become more conscious of what they are eating. Hitwell is positioning privately on Farmer Focus to ride the wave. The new processing line, purchased from a Netherlands manufacturer, represents a $5 million investment by Heatwell and his financing team, which includes agricultural technology investors such as S2G Ventures. But the boost in capacity will help Farmer Focus respond to the growing demand for organic food. This expansion will allow us to grow from our current production level of 175,000 birds per week to up to 650,000 birds per week, said the chief executive Heatwell, standing on a chilly, water-sloshed factory floor in hairnet, safety glasses, and a white coat. Heatwell was born and raised in Rockingham County, the heart of Virginia's agricultural industry. He has been a farmer and poultryman from when he was walking around the farm with his father barefoot. He grew up on farms, enjoyed farming, and loved his farm. His $100 million company, Shenandoah Valley Organic, Farmer Focus is the brand name, is the result of a 5-year-old idea. Take control over raising chickens away from giant poultry conglomerates and turn it over to the farmers. The Farmer Focus plant in the Shenandoah Valley is stepping into a $2 billion and growing U.S. market for organically raised chickens. About 50 farms within an hour drive supplies heat walls with tens of thousands of birds that will eventually end up in poultry coolers at 2,600 stores along the Northeast Corridor and as far as west as California. Organic is a movement, said Scott Nash, founder of MOM's Organic Store, a Washington area chain. Farmer Focus is one of the most popular items at MOM's meat counter. Consumers prefer better health and nutrition and want to help the environment. Farmer focused products carried by Giant, Hannaford, Winn Dixie, and SuperValue are to name a few grocery chains. Several big chains buy Farmer Focus chicken to sell under their own labels. Heatwell estimates Farmer Focus's share of the U.S. organic chicken market at about 5%. Americans eat more than 90 pounds of chicken per person per year, according to the National Chicken Council. That's substantially more chicken than either beef or pork. Capturing even a small portion of the chicken market could pay off. What makes a certified organic chicken no antibiotic, less crowded living conditions, access to pasture and sunlight, organic feed and bugs, and wild greens to munch on? Heatwell's idea was to tap into the growing demand for organic food encouraged by Whole Foods and other stores. I have found a niche and I'm growing it, Heatwell said. Every farmer focused package has the name of the farmer who raised the bird and displays a code that allows the consumer to go online and see photos of farmers, the farm, and the chickens. Farmer Focus isn't cheap. His chicken prices are half again, even double those of non organic chicken in the store. Heatwell said, but enough people paid. The organic consumer is an aware and more passionate consumer, Heatwell said. The 36-year-old entrepreneur is already thinking about his next big play. He has been shuttling between Virginia and the West Coast this year, scouting potential sites for another chicken plant. I am thinking of the next big step, he will said as we walked through the Harrison plant. This is part of a succession of steps I have taken to grow my business and act on my ideas. I don't want to just manage a factory. I want to take this to the next level. Heatwell has been building businesses since he was 19. He started a cow hoof care practice. He saved his money and bought a fire damaged house that he fixed and flipped for a $60,000 profit. He also invested in apartments, but that didn't work out. By age 22, he had bought a poultry farm. He also had built an energy and insulation company while continuing to farm. Heatwell didn't like being a contractor to the big chicken conglomerates. You don't own the birds, and you have to raise them according to very specific directions of the corporation, he said. Essentially, the deal was that the farmer would supply the chicken coop and care for the chickens according to the dictates of the company. Then the company would take the flock when the birds matured after 7 weeks, and the cycle would start over all over again. I didn't like the economics with the integrators owning the buds and telling us what we had to do, Heatwell said. He wanted to raise chickens under better living conditions with more sunlight, better food, and less crowding. He rented a farm and tried the organic way. He ordered 300 chicks to raise organically. He learned by doing. He found mentors. He consulted the Virginia Department of Agriculture that led him to iShare Farm of Upperville, Virginia. His first customer, which sold and supplied organic meat, produce online to restaurants, his first customer, which sold and supplied organic meat and produced online to restaurants. iShare was started by Sandy Lerner, a co-founder of Cisco Systems and a proponent of organic food and the human treatment of farmed animals. Heatwell looked a few steps forward and figured that if he could scale up organic chicken farming enough to create a steady supply, there would be enough demand for a processing plant. Heatwell began the filling out the farmers he knew in the area. The farmers asked for a model that allowed them to own their own birds and gave them freedom and flexibility to make their own decisions, he said. They didn't want to be told what to do. There would still be standards for range certified chickens, but the new system would make farmers feel in more control. He found the former Swift plant that was empty with $1.25 million from the sale of his insulation business and a loan from the bank. He bought the plant and filled it with equipment that ground in Mississippi for 5 cents on the dollar. On March 15th, 2014, the plant received the first flocks of chickens processing. Shenandoah Valley Organic is on the track to exceed $100 million in revenue this year. It should earn a profit in single-digit millions, Heatwell said. The plant's 438 blue-collar and white-collar jobs are welcome to Harrisonburg, which is just 5 minutes away from Interstate 81. The new evisceration line allows us to better utilize the bird parts, greatly reducing the human contact and making it more sanitary, Heatwell said. The employees will be redirected to other parts of the company. I told a chicken processing plant about 25 years ago, and it wasn't pleasant, so I drove to Harrisonburg with the trepidation. I was okay this time around. I warned Heatwell that I didn't want to see a lot of blood or little white birds getting plucked and sliced. I saw chicken carcasses, legs being deboned, and lots of washing. The plant's water bill is $45,000 a month. When I left, I stopped at a beef barbecue joint. I am going to give chicken wings a rest for a bit.